All right, you want to know the two biggest mistakes I see women making when they're trying to address their hormone health and fix hormone issues and symptoms. Number one might surprise you. I'll get to it in a second. I just want to first introduce myself. I am Liz Reeson. I'm a dietitian, hormone health dietitian. I've been in practice for over 10 years helping women, and I have created my Foundations of Hormone Balance method, which has been so incredibly successful, and we'll talk about why. But let's get to it. The reason you wanted to watch this video, the two biggest mistakes I see women making. Number one is trying to fix the symptoms and not the root cause. And it's so easy to do, right? You have bloating. You Google what to do for bloating and you start eliminating some foods. Or let's say you have acne and you take a supplement or a medication from the dermatologist. Or you have fatigue, you have very low energy and you start drinking more caffeine. Or again, take a supplement, fix PMS, trying some random hormone hacks from TikTok. It's so easy to focus in on like a symptom and try to fix the symptom, but not really understanding the body as a whole, especially when it comes to hormones. Hormones are our body's communication system. And so when we have a hormonal imbalance, hormonal issues, we have issues with multiple areas of the body. Okay, that's important to kind of just nail home first. The other thing, when we are just kind of picking up symptoms, a lot of times when women come to me, they maybe have like one major thing that they want to focus on, right? Like what's the symptom that's causing them the most trouble? What's the daily thing? And maybe again, that's bloating, or maybe that's low energy, or maybe that's weight gain. And they kind of come to me and they're like, this is what I have. And it's like one symptom. I'm like, okay. But when we actually meet for our first appointment and we dive into health history and I'm asking you all these little questions and I'm pulling at all these little things, all of a sudden we figure out, we get your whole picture of what's going on in your body and all the different symptoms that you're having. Because what those do is they all connect and they give us the story as to what is underlying your symptoms. What is the root cause or causes? And now we can really build that roadmap for you for healing. And that is whole body healing. And that's where we need to be focused when it comes to hormone health. Because when we are just chasing those symptoms, the things that we miss are things like our nervous system, our blood sugar, maybe our gut health microbiome. That's a big one I focus on. Nutrients, of course. So we'll kind of talk a little bit more on that one next. But this symptom chasing and not understanding the root cause, not understanding the whole story is absolutely one of the biggest mistakes that I see. And I'm going to share just a quick client story with you to show you this. So this is Megan. She came to me, busy mom in her 30s. She was just kind of brushing off symptoms and how she felt. And she just overall felt tired, worn out, not happy with her body. Her cycles were, fairly okay and regular, but there's a lot in there that could be improved. But she was really brushing off those symptoms as stress. Life is busy. And she kind of kept telling herself, life will slow down soon and then I'll focus on it. She also was trying to cut carbs out, really avoid carbs, and was not eating enough, not getting enough nutrients. And that was just further depleting her body and her hormones. So, working with Megan, we really helped to look at her day-to-day schedule, her life, and her lifestyle, and build in little habits and routines that worked for her that allowed her nervous system to regulate, allowed her to get enough nutrients that supported energy, but also still kept her on the goal of weight loss. And she got the energy back to start working out. And all of that brought her mood up. And her cycle became more regular. Of course, too, we were working on hormones, but the hormone stuff's important, but it's like how she felt was just night and day from when she came to me to when she was finished, and just how positive and hopeful and motivated and confident she was too. And I think that's one of the biggest things is just how confident women leave me in. They are confident in what they're eating. They know what to do. They trust themselves. And that is something that, it's just priceless, in my opinion. Like that's what we all want to feel, right? Like comfortable and confident in our body. So she shared, this is just a little snippet of her message. I feel so much better than when I started. I know life throws curveballs, but everything I've learned with you, I now have strategies and supplements to help get me back on track. And this was an extremely eye-opening and helpful experience. You are amazing at what you do. Okay, number two, what's the second biggest mistake I see women make when they're trying to fix symptoms and hormones before they come to me? Underfueling and overstressing their body. I think with our society, I mean, we've got the online, we've got social media, now we've got AI. We have so much information at our fingertips. So it can be extremely difficult to clear through all of that and figure out exactly for you what is healthy, what is beneficial, okay? What is realistic too. I work with majority of busy women. I'm a busy mom myself. This needs to be realistic for you if you're truly going to stick with it. So when we talk about food and what you're eating in the day and how it's timing throughout the day, it's going to look different for you than another woman I'm working with. So it really needs to be personalized for every individual woman. And that goes in with, sometimes we're looking at labs and hormones specifically and changing some things based on that, cortisol in particular, insulin, that kind of thing. But a lot of times it's also just looking at how you feel throughout the day, your energy, your sleep, your mood, and depending on how you're feeling, we're adjusting what you're eating and how you're eating. And then understanding your menstrual cycle. If you're still having a regular menstrual cycle, then we need to understand how we can tweak food to work with your hormones there. And that coincides with some of the other health trends out there, like fasting, intermittent fasting, that really needs to be timed with your hormones, okay? And understanding too what phase of life you're in, it's going to look different. So there's a lot of adjustments as we move through life, as we get older in age with our hormones, but also with what we need to be doing with our lifestyle, our ability to manage stress. So I work with women, as we age, if we're in perimenopause versus cycling, like we need to tweak boundaries. We need to create some new boundaries. We need to just help your body to address the life and, busyness and that type of thing that can really weigh on your body. So some women too, they're doing very healthy things, but they're like, why don't I feel good? And it's like, well, if you're eating the same way as you did when you're in your 20s and you're very low carb, or let's say you're working out, you're like, I've always worked out in the morning and I do 20 minutes aerobic and 20 minutes strength, and I've been doing the same thing for how long? And it's now I feel terrible. It's like, well, we need to adjust what's going on there. Maybe it's due to aging and hormones, or maybe it's due to cortisol and burnout. But whatever it is, we need to get that insight. We need to look at hormones and adrenals in particular, and we need to be able to tailor a plan that works for you. Food, exercise, stress management, boundaries. I mean, this is where I'm not your typical dietitian in I'm going to just talk to you about food and give you a meal plan and recipes. I love food, I love recipes, but I'm looking at you at your whole body. I'm looking at you as a whole person. So we need to really, if we're going to be seeing results and working through my Foundations of Hormone Balance method, it's diet, but it's exercise, lifestyle, stress management, and so much more. So I think the biggest thing when women are coming to me and they have low energy, they're seeing weight gain, their mood or anxiety is off, and hormones and cycles start getting irregular, there's so much going on than just those symptoms. I'm going to share two more client stories here. Carrie came to me. She was burned out. She was exhausted. She was tired of trying new diets and supplements, and she couldn't really even work out at this point. She was very tired. She had no motivation or energy to work out. We did labs, and they showed significantly low hormones overall. And her adrenals in particular were kind of a mess, and her cortisol. And when that is there, when we've got adrenal and cortisol dysfunction, it affects everything. I mean, that is our sole focus for a little while. Like you really got to give your body time and you've got to kind of make some shifts in your life, but it's worth it because without doing that, you will not see changes in your weight, in your energy, in your mood, in inflammation, and things can kind of pile up. So, Carrie was amazing and she really took recommendations to heart and made changes and she came to me and said, I'm happy to report she's lost 25 pounds, feels so much better overall. She had her labs ran and her hormone, especially estrogen, which was really low, was back up into a healthy range. And she finished by saying, these are life lessons for me. I can't thank you enough. And I think, again, that is the major thing to take home is that it's not just fixing and helping you right now in your symptoms, it's teaching you along the way so that you have the knowledge in the future. And not that I'm going anywhere. You can always come back to work with me, but you're going to have so many tools in place that there's a good chance you're good to go. Like you have such a good understanding after we work through the entire Foundations of Hormone Balance method, and you get to put it all into action. And when you're doing that, it's so much easier to remember. It really becomes a part of you. And I love it. She also, I remember her sending me an email after we were done working together, and she said, I'm getting so many compliments, and people ask me, like, what did you do? And she goes, she's like, I don't even know what to tell them. I just say, I don't know. I'm just eating healthy and being active. And I just had to laugh because I'm like, yeah, when you're going through it, you're just making these changes and the things you're learning just part of your life and part of your day. So it's like when someone asks, "Oh my gosh, you're down 25 pounds. You look great. What do you do? What did you do?" They're expecting you to say, I took a GLP-1 med or I did this diet trend or whatever it is, but they're expecting you to say like some kind of specific program or diet and you're like, I just made some healthy changes. I don't know. So I just thought that was funny. I specifically remember her emailing me that. Okay, the last one I'm going to share with you is Michelle, who came to me. She was a year postpartum and she really hadn't had time it was her first baby, hadn't really had time to like focus on herself and her symptoms, but she just knew like cycles, things weren't right. And she was trying some different supplements, something pops across social media and it's like, okay, I'll try that or I'll try this. But she noticed like things just kind of kept getting worse. And I put in the italics here, like throwing supplements at a problem without understanding or addressing the root cause, it's kind of like you have a fire burning and you're throwing one little cup of water at it. It's like, again, that goes back to the first big mistake is trying to address a symptom when we've got a whole underlying issue. Um, so you need to be strategic and work through the process in order to get these real results. And so Michelle shared, I feel like all the diet changes and supplements have been really helping. So when we do supplements, we're able to really tailor them when we get the labs back and how you're feeling. And supplements are something that should always be tailored and they're likely going to always be changing. I mean, have a client start a supplement for a specific reason and then maybe it's 6 weeks or maybe it's 3 months and we're like, okay, now we can come off that and maybe there's something else we need to address at that point, but supplements shouldn't be like, take this, you're good to go for life. The only ones I would say would be like your multivitamin and fish oil, magnesium maybe these days because those levels in our soil are so depleted. But yeah, aside from that, supplements really should be for specific reasons and something that we should, periodically be able to get off and not need for life. She also mentioned my cycle has been much more regular and I've definitely not been as tired or moody, which is great. That's always a plus, right? So I hope this was helpful for you. If you're making some of these mistakes or you're just now understanding really how certain symptoms are tied to a whole body issue, these underlying root problems. If you want to talk with me directly, if you want to learn more about my Foundations of Hormone Balance method and ways that we can work together, I really hope that you do. And I have an application form actually just below this video. You can fill that out and I'll be in touch with you as soon as I can, within 48 hours. But if there's anything question-wise, again, you can fill out the form. We'll just connect and make sure we're a good fit, answer any questions you have, and we'll go from there. Thank you for listening.